names that I'm
But
assuming
you see them
exist.
on media, don't you?
Yeah,
On TV,
right.
and you know.
This shit might as
Yeah,
well be
I
Lord of the
thought.
Rings for me. I mean, it's all fantasy, right?
Well, I thought every American was a member of a country club. Or
Yeah,
they,
yes,
weekends
yeah.
they went down, put a sweat over the shoulders, and pretended to be British.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
maybe take a trip to Cleveland or Detroit or my hometown of Baltimore and tell me if you think that anymore.
It's showtime, folks.
Hey, everybody. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Into the Music. My name's John. His name is Andy. And we're here to listen to some spanking tunes. Andy, what have you got for me?
I have a song by a band called Leisure Club. Have you ever heard of Leisure Club?
No, I haven't.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that helps. And the name of the track is Throw My Love Away.
Okay.
All right. So now you're
So,
equipped with both the band and the song title. I think you've got everything you
sound,
need.
it sounds like a sort of Northern Soul song, doesn't it? From Throw My Love Away. You can imagine. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
You can actually imagine it being a soul
Yeah.
song for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I shall go away and have a gander.
Excellent. Let me know what you think.
Sure.
Waiting for your phone call, waiting on your heart, hoping that you love me, hoping it's a start. Let's just go together, let's just go as one. Keep me in your pocket, let's just have some fun. Anything you want, anything you
Okay. Just to say at the start off, I really like the sound of that guitar. It's quite simple, but quite pure. It's almost carefree, really light and uplifting. But from the lyrics so far, he's sounding kind of desperate already. So it's like upbeat, downbeat sort of song. Yeah, let's see how he goes. If he stops begging and pleading, perhaps he might get somewhere. We'll see.
got, baby, it's alright. Any time of day, any words you say, honey, it's alright. Why do I throw my love away when all I want is you to stay? Why do I throw my love away when all I want is you? Now you call me baby.
That's really interesting. I've noticed it on some of the other songs that Andy's given me, and they're of a certain era. I'm guessing this is maybe late noughties, but probably 2010s. The chorus, they really filled out the vocals, and I can see why they do it. And it's a legitimate technique, but it doesn't do anything for me at all. I don't know. Does it sound overproduced or just too smooth and polished? I mean, it's not awful, but it doesn't have that effect which I think it probably does on other people, or what the producers were intending. The big chorus, full vocals, and I'm like, nah. I prefer the guy just singing in the verse and that lovely guitar, the little sort of cheeky phrases. right at the end of the chorus going into the second verse. It's really nice. So it's lost on me, I'm afraid. Okay.
Now I call you mine. Things are getting shaky. We're running out of time. Sometimes things just fade out. Sometimes just because. Got me feeling like I'm falling out of love. Anything you want, anything you got. Maybe it's alright. When you feel without and it don't work out, honey, it's alright. Why do I throw my love away when all I want is you to stay? Why do I throw my love away when all I want is you? Let's just give it a try tonight. Let's just give it one more try tonight. Let's just give it one more try tonight. Why do I throw my love away when all I want is you to stay? Why do I throw my love away when all I want is you? Why do I throw my love away all night long when all I want is you to stay? Why do I throw my love away all night long when all I want is you?
Caught me out. Nearly got some adverts for suppositories or something. Okay. That's a bit to unpack there. Back to Andy.
Hey, you're back. How is your venture to the
Mhm.
Leisure Club? Are you a member?
Yeah. Guest.
Just testing
Yeah,
the
that's-
waters.
yeah. Just testing the Veruca foot pool. Do you have those in the States?
No.
It's bizarre. Like every swimming pool, your public baths, swimming pools you go to, you like the dressing room get changed and you walk through, and then there's this little shallow, looks like rainwater or something. It's supposed to be a Veruca, anti-Veruca foot bath that you walk through before you dive into the pool.
Maybe some
Yeah,
places
you
have
can
those. I
imagine.
don't think I've ever experienced that, but that seems redundant, but I guess it's there for a reason.
Yeah, it just always struck me as really odd, and the water looked really manky.
Yeah, like a cesspool, right? Yeah, I don't.
But you know, remember the great Veruca plague of 1847 that swept
Oh,
through
do I?
England? I don't know why we're talking about
Not a
Veruca.
day
Anyway,
goes
back
by,
to the
John.
song. Yeah. Anyway, back to the song. I was disappointed there was no mention of Verucas in it, but
once you came
So,
to grips
is
with
it-
that,
it was interesting. It was a kind of upbeat, downbeat song. It's one of those I felt. First thing that struck me was this beautiful natural tone to the guitar. And I'm not up with effects and whatever, you know, guitar. So to my untrained ear, it sounded like a sort of cross between Dwayne Eddy and like sort of tiki bar sort of sound, you know. It almost had a touch of that. It wasn't, but it could have been almost Hawaiian. But it had the lovely twang to it, you know, and it sounded really pure, you know, and it really cut through. Very uplifting and quite carefree sounding as well. And there was really nice phrasing to the guitar as well, and it kind of punctuated the ends of lines as well. The actual when the guy started singing, I got the impressions from the lyrics. I managed to scramble down some words, which is unusual for me. But, I got the impression that he's almost I don't know if it is a double bluff or what, but I got the impression he's trying to keep fairly cool and seem casual, but really it came across to me like he's really pleading. And he was like waiting and hoping that you love me, and keep me in your pocket was another line.
Mhm.
And even by saying anything you want, it's all right, it's really sort of, giving all the options and power to the other person. And so I thought that was quite interesting, but it's really upbeat and really, it's catchy and nice. And there's within the lyrics, there's like a hint of like sadness or frustration I got from it that is not quite there. And then the chorus where he sings, "Why do I throw my love away when all I want is for you to stay?" Something like that.
Mhm.
About there. And I thought that was quite interesting. What does he mean by he throws his love away? Does he mean that he just hands his heart out to people, or is he throwing away the chance of love by, not taking it serious? So again,
Mhm.
that sort of got me thinking. Overall, I preferred the verses to the chorus, and again, this got me thinking, and sort of got a little bit of a realization that when it comes to the chorus, and I think we've had this before with other songs, that there's this really full vocal, like I say, double, treble, quadruple up the vocals for the sort of chorus bit. And I know exactly why they do it, is to give this like big impact, sort of raising it up for the chorus. And it's a sort of production method, but it doesn't have that impact with me. I guess I'm not the target audience anyway, but it just doesn't it doesn't have that impact. I don't hate it, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't do anything for me. And it seems a little bit over polished and not quite, whereas the verses seemed a lot more natural and, natural to the ear as well. And I really liked them, but I like the way the guitar flowed through it. And so the big punchy chorus just didn't punch with me. I mean, it didn't fall flat in its ass either, but it didn't work in the way which I presumed it wanted to. There was some, when they had the little breakdown and then came back to end the song, there was some fantastic guitar work going on, but it's really hidden in the mix. It was going on in my right ear, and there was this, but it was just there. And I would have liked to hear a bit higher up, but they had other stuff going on. Obviously, it's choices, isn't it? And you can't please all the people all the time, and you certainly can't please me all the time. And but I mean, again, I'm sure they wouldn't be too disappointed to hear my critique of it, but I'd say overall it was a good melody. It was a catchy tune. I liked especially the guitars. I wasn't so keen on the production, but that's just a personal thing. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's a great, catchy, poppy kind of number, really. So yeah, overall it was decent.
Yeah, they're a rather new-ish band. This song, which actually predates their debut album, was released as a single, I'm assuming in an effort to gin up interest and talk, as their release date for their full-length album was only within a year away. So it was like, hey, let's get on people's radars with this single, and we just won't put it on the album. It'll be standalone. So this came out in 2016. The full-length album came out in 2017, and this was at a time like I didn't discover them then. I discovered them in 2020, and I discovered them in 2020 because we were all locked in our houses, and I was essentially using Spotify as Tinder for songs, where I'm just like, and bands, I'm like, listen to it for 20 seconds, swipe left or right, move on to the next song, in sort of like this swath of newer indie stuff that I was trying to get off the stuff that I knew, because I had really been, first 3 months of the pandemic, had really been like saturating myself in, and I felt like, all right, I'm blowing my load here. I need to restock. And so I went to the well, and it was these guys. It's something about that Danelectro or old Fender style Western United States guitar sound, like California. These guys are from Vancouver, British Columbia, which is still the Pacific side of the
Yeah.
continent. But they definitely have a Cali sound to them, or like a surfy type sound. And that's not all they do. There's other things, and there's quotes from people who've covered the band for music magazines who had kind of walked into it thinking that they were just getting a beachy rock band, but it was actually much more than just your typical surf stuff. A lot of really good tracks on that first album too. I just sort of wanted to start with what I started with and then progress if there was any interest or whatever. But I really, really enjoy these guys. Their music, that you spoke of the tone of the guitar, and I did too when I mentioned like early Fender and Danelectro guitar sounds. You'll get a whole lot of that guitar sound in that whole debut album. They really lean into that pristine, crisp, slightly verging on the sound of echoey type guitar. It's just so clean to me. I love it. Love the sound of it. The band is comprised of Jamie Small on vocals, Graham Madden on guitar. Kudos to him. Great work. Sean Bainton on keys, Daniel Ruiz on drums, and Rob Cameron on bass. So they're a 5-piece outfit, again, out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And there's something really playful and fun about this song, even though the verses have kind of subject matter that, sounds, like lamenting or something like that. It's just and then when that chorus gets in that wasn't really effective with you, to me, it almost made me laugh when I heard it because it reminded me of dance music. And it's like, you think about dancing and it's like a guy talking about throwing his love away or how he I think the gist of the song is he throws himself into a relationship, wanting it to work, almost forcing it to work. Then 6 months, a year into it, he realizes that he threw too much effort into the beginning to really let it happen naturally and organically. And when it has happened naturally and organically, he's like, shit, I threw all my energy into it. It's not going anywhere. Now we're stagnant. This is going to end up. And I put a lot of energy into this and it was wasted. And I was like, you have to let love happen and not force it. And I think that that's the lesson of the song, which is like, I've been in relationships where I've, been, eager in the beginning and then realized I was looking through too rosy of a tinted glass lens when I was looking at it. And that usually when you're younger, you know what I mean? That happens and then you learn. But yeah, just reminded me of those times and those experiences. Love the sound of the band. You didn't like the chorus. I actually like the chorus because it made me, there's some irony to the almost dancey type sound to something that's not what you dance about. And yeah, they just struck a chord with me and they were one of my sort of happy little accident finds during the pandemic. And I'm really hoping that they're gearing up to put out another album. It's not like these guys have a wiki page. They have their own page and there's some stuff out there like articles and things written about them, but they're not huge yet. And I really think that the first album warranted more attention than it probably got, but it also is, just but one small fish in a giant pond nowadays when it comes to music and who gets noticed and who doesn't. A lot gets put out there. So, but they've gotten really great critical acclaim. Like this one quote stands out to me. The thing is, before chatting with them, I had it in my head that they were a beachy, surfy sort of act. Maybe I came up with this conclusion because of prior reviews I read. Maybe I hopped on the bandwagon too quickly. This wasn't the case at all. Leisure Club are much more complex than that. In fact, they have layers to their music and influences that range much farther, much deeper than lounging poolside enjoying a drink with your pals. Hearing them live, you'll see the harmony of the band with a distinct sound you can't really peg, which I think is a really, rave review, probably one that they were looking for, especially if they were being pigeonholed to just this and the name Leisure Club, you almost think of it like you're like sipping a drink playing bocce ball or something like that, and this these guys are playing in the background and it's just but it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere.
I think in this country it's very different. So it's Leisure Club for a start.
Leisure.
Yeah. And it's usually run by the council, although they have private ones now. They do, yeah. But especially the sort of like the community one that's owned and run by the council is usually run down, paint peeling, and the toilets don't work, and they weren't great, and yeah, all the kids peeing in the pool, and and it's not glamorous. And I guess there is once you join now. Which are sort of a bit smarter and everything, but it's certainly against, we don't have the weather either. Whereas, you think of an American one, it's, palm trees and massive cocktails where we'll sit around the pool on your lounges bitching about the people opposite. She's had work done, all that sort of stuff. That's, but I didn't mention that.
For those in this country privileged enough to be able to afford that lifestyle, I'm sure it's out there. I've never experienced it, but again, these are tropes and stereotypes that I'm.
But you see them on media, don't you? On TV,
right. This shit might as well be Lord of the Rings for me. I mean, it's all fantasy, right?
Well, I thought every American was a member of a country club. Weekends they went down, put a sweater over their shoulders, and pretended to be British.
Yeah. Well, maybe take a trip to Cleveland or Detroit or my hometown of Baltimore and tell me if you think that anymore.
Yeah. With all the glass under your feet for the vials. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say what you were talking about earlier and how you came across them. Yeah, I see this as a very immediate sound, and I would see it as perfect for radio play. And I'm surprised from what you said that there's still. I expected you to say they've sold 10 million of their first album, or whatever, because I could see this going big, easy. It's not my cup of tea, yeah, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. And I could see this,
you understand that there's a market for it. You would think, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see the mass appeal for this, yeah, there's nothing. I'll be surprised. I guess it's who's putting weight behind them, as you say, that small fish in a big pond. That's where the record labels come in, and it's hard. You do get some that grow it organically, word of mouth, etc., but they're really rare. Really rare.
No, but right. You're absolutely right. All right, cool. Well, I'm glad you liked. I mean, you didn't hate it, but I'm glad you gave it a listen, and that you found some redeeming qualities in it. You really liked the guitar, which is my favorite part about the whole thing too. The tonality of that, just kind of a throwback in what is otherwise a very, like you mentioned, contemporary sounding song. But with all that being said, I'm going to put a bow on everything and wrap this up. Everybody out there and into the music world, let us know if you've heard of Leisure Club before, what you thought of these guys, like, dislike, anything you found redeeming in the song. Like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined. That'd be pretty awesome. We're chugging along towards 5,000. In fact, by the time this goes up, we could already be there, but then there's the next goal. So please help us and make that a thing too. But until next time, we'll see you all on the next episode of Into the Music.